Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Maximum warp. Punch it. Punch it.
Punch it, Bishop!
Punch it.
Punch that shit!
Let's punch it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Punch It, episode 132. My name is Charlene Schmidt, and with me, as always, is...
Tristan Riddell.
Tristan Riddell. It is always a good day in Star Trek lore when we have something new to discuss.
We do have something new. I mean, we really shouldn't take that for granted.
We really shouldn't. We should appreciate it and enjoy it for what it is. And with that said, I'm excited to find out what you thought of the latest short trek, Ask Not.
Ask Not. Yes, for those of you who haven't seen it, there will be spoilers.
Yep.
So please try to get on that if you can. If not, just skip forward a couple of minutes because we do have a topic outside of this.
Indeed.
Go ahead and fast forward to the spoiler section. So, Ask Not. This was a very short trek. Like this was...
You
9
noticed
minutes?
that too? Yeah, not even 10 minutes. Like, this is the shortest of the short treks so far.
This is I'm trying not to sound callous about this, but this felt unnecessary.
Okay,
I know that whenever somebody says, like, whenever a movie comes out, like say Solo, like the Star Wars movie that came out, so many people are like, we didn't ask for this is unnecessary. Or when El Camino came out, the Breaking Bad movie, so many people are like, ultimately unnecessary, but still fun.
Hey,
The
that was
response
still
usu-
freaking great.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. It was great. It was great. 4 stars. But there's always that one person, and when I say one person, I mean a couple dozen, who say, well, nothing's necessary. Nothing's ever truly needed. It's entertainment. And I'm just like, okay, shut up. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what we mean when we say something is unnecessary. So get off that high horse. This one felt, I'm not trying to come down on it, but I guess I am in a way, but like it felt very cheap. It felt very unnecessary. It felt very... it felt like it felt like a poor excuse to get Pike involved.
Well, you just summed up, I think, the whole purpose of this short trek was, let's get Anson Mount back on the stage for a couple more days. Let's write something really quick for him. Now, that said, though, there's still some good things, I think, that came out of this. One, and I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on her name, the actress who plays Cadet Sadu. She's amazing. She's wonderful. She's going to have a heck of a career as an actress. She's good. Now, also, though, this made me think about, well, it made me question Starfleet a little bit. Okay, because here's the thing, is we're thrust into this situation, and it's very intense, right? Like, this thing really is tight. There was no fat on this short trek whatsoever. We're thrust into this situation where Sadu has to guard this prisoner, and whatever she does, do not let him go, keep him here, yada yada. And this was a test. This was a test of her character, of her mettle as a Starfleet officer, and we have seen this before, like with Wesley, with his entrance exams. He was also in a life-threatening situation where somebody could have died. Now, I understand kind of like wanting to take the safeties off just to see what a person is really made of. I can see why Starfleet wants to do that, but at the same time, I think this gives a really good case for the Kobayashi Maru, where people know that they're in a difficult situation and it's how you handle it, not necessarily how it resolves. But this was sprung upon Sadu. She didn't know it was coming. At least Wesley had the notice to realize that he was being tested. So Starfleet, what are you doing? I mean, this seems to be an unnecessary risk of potential loss of life. And how many times has a situation like this backfired? That's what I really want to know.
I don't think we should say necessarily that Wesley knew he was being tested. He knew he was going to be tested, but he had no idea that this was a part of the test. And I think that's the deal. I think that's the trick. And I actually really like that because I feel like it's reserved for the best of the best, which Starfleet should be. You know, like
Okay.
if you're going to get somebody on the Enterprise and you want to make sure that their mettle has been tested, it's hard to test the mettle of a cadet because they have no real world experience. It's all simulations. It's all survival training. It's all everything where they know that they're safe, that they know that they're taken care of, that they know they're just a beam out away. And if you're going to put a cadet straight from school to one of the most priority ships in the fleet, I think you have to test their ability in stressful situations and somewhat, rough situations. Like I think Pike hit it on the head when he said, he's like, I'm summarizing here because I can't remember it verbatim, but he said, he's like, I know that this is rough and maybe even inhumane, but that is what war is.
Right. So I kind of feel like the short trek is trying to justify its actions. And you're saying that they're not doing this to every single Starfleet cadet. They're only doing this to what seems to be the most promising of cadets.
I think it wouldn't make sense to do that to every single officer.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm
training.
getting at.
Because when, we've talked about this many times before about how, we've brought up Wesley in that situation from the episode of season 2, I think. And
Yeah, wasn't it like coming of age or something like that?
I honestly can't remember. If you put,
It's
a
a long
gun to
time
my
ago,
head, I
and I've
wouldn't be
not
able to
watched
tell
it
you.
in
Yeah.
years.
No. But with this specific thing, like I use this to cite an example of how a bridge officer is the best of the best. And if they're on the Enterprise, they're the best of the best of the best. And if you get into Starfleet, you're the best, everything like that. And so I feel like there has to be some sort of stratification isn't the right word, but if you're just an enlisted man, you're not going to go through this. If you're someone who's going to go into straight engineering, you're probably not going to go through this. If you're going to go through the science division, you're probably not going to go through this.
But wait a minute.
You're
Sidhu was engineering.
Yes, Sidhu is engineering, but I feel like you can start off in different areas. I mean, like you look at Wesley, and Wesley was in engineering all the time. He was probably going to be on an engineering track, but he ended up being on the command track. I feel like you are right, but I feel like if she is in the engineering track, it's probably Pike probably saw her and realized that there's something more to her. And not saying that engineering isn't enough, but I'm saying that he probably saw leadership qualities in her. I mean, it's just like with the captain in the Tribble episode. Like she was in the science division, but then she went into the command division to get her own ship. I'm sure she probably went through something similar as well.
Maybe so.
Like some sort of command test. This is pure speculation on my point. 100% speculation. I have nothing to back this up.
So you think that they do this to cadets, maybe even junior officers even, who they want to steer onto the command track, possibly, to see how they react, to see if they've got the aptitude for thinking on their feet.
100% guesswork, but that's what I think. I think that makes sense to me because you look at Wesley. Wesley's a friggin' genius. Like he's, like the cream of the crop. And I feel like Chekhov probably went through something like that too.
You're probably right. Certainly Kelvin versus Chekhov did.
That's who I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was a little weirded out by that whole idea that Starfleet was just going to spring people into what was a simulation but felt like really clear and present danger, where people potentially really could have died. But at the same time, I loved the mystery of the setting on the phaser. You don't want to know. That just totally neuters the whole mystique of it.
There's no way that they handed her a real phaser. And while we're on the topic of handing her a phaser, I tweeted about this the other day. Can we please stop having Star Trek treat the phaser like a toy? There are so many times when you see someone throw and toss a phaser at someone. It's a phaser. It can explode. It can disintegrate. I know it has safeties, but who the hell cares? I mean, it's
right.
It's
yeah.
like
What if you forget to lock this thing?
Seriously, Tuvok stunned an entire room on a wide beam. We've seen a phaser overload and destroy an entire section of a ship. This is insane that they're still treating it like a plastic Playmates toy.
Never mind the fact that they really are. But if we are to believe that they are lethal weapons, yeah, these are not toys. Don't throw around toys. Would you throw a knife? No.
No, it's just imagine if this was like a cop show, like a modern day cop show, and then they had a 9mm extended clip, and they're just like, oh, here's a gun, and they just tossed it haphazardly at them 5 feet away. That person would be like, are you insane? Are you insane?
Same thing, right? Yeah, good point.
Except a whole lot worse.
Phasers are not toys.
But yeah, so there's no way that they gave her a real phaser. I feel like that was just Pike winking, saying like, oh, okay, well, we'll see. You know, I'm not going to tell you. But there's no reason to put people's lives in danger. And I think that this is a heavily controlled environment where no one could have gotten hurt. It's kind of like the holodeck where everything's fake, everything's on hydraulics and moving around and everything like that. It's really just dramatics and theatrics. And yeah, it's just, I just felt like we spent an entire short trek, except for like the last 30 seconds, in one room with two people just yelling at each other. Like, that's it. That's all we had.
It was a battle of wills, and that was actually something I enjoyed.
That's cool. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, that's what Star Trek's all about. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's cool, but it's a short trek, you know? Like, give me something a little bit more interesting than this.
I don't know. Honestly, of the 3 short treks we've had recently, this one might be my favorite.
Yeah, I guess I didn't feel that way with Q&A. Q&A is essentially the same kind of structure.
This I feel is more intense, though.
Because it's just I'm just saying, like, from an action standpoint, it just takes place in one turbo lift. So why did I feel this way about Ask Not, but I didn't feel this way about Q&A? I feel like maybe because, I don't know, to me, Q&A felt more interesting. It felt more lively. It felt more vibrant. And Ask Not felt much more straightforward and just like we cut it. Like, Q&A felt like an entire story. Ask Not felt like it was clipped, where we just got like one little section.
I can agree with that. Q&A felt like a short story, whereas this felt like just kind of like a missing scene.
Yeah,
something
I think
that was trimmed off of an episode, something like that.
Mm-hmm. So what did you think about engineering?
Brewery 2.0, baby.
This when I first saw it, my knee jerk was like, oh God, have you learned nothing?
They did not.
But then when I looked at it again, when I found a freeze frame on it, and I looked at it again, and I really, 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 really looked at it. If you take a look at the Enterprise E Sovereign class engineering, it's about the same size. Except this one has much more open space around it. But I think the actual engine core, the warp core, is about the same size as the Sovereign class. It just is missing some deck plating where you actually see it, like you see some more open space in the star drive section. And I think it's still way too big for the Constitution class. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think that might be my big problem with it, is it feels like a lot of empty, wasted space.
Yes, and that's the thing, is that like when you're in a starship, and that's what bugs me about the asinine turbolift system, is that space
where they're
is at a
showing
premium.
that. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, space is at an extreme premium when you're in a starship. And,
you think?
And so, like with engineering, I feel like it's better than the brewery in 09. It's way better than whatever the hell we got in Into Darkness. But I'm not
It still
throwing...
looks like a brewery, though.
Does it?
It did to me. And granted, I only watched it once, and I didn't look at engineering in as much detail as you did. But that was my first impression takeaway. It was like, it's Brewery 2.0. No, they have not learned anything.
Find a still of it, because if you really look at it, it does look like a Sovereign class, just with way too much open space.
Okay, I'll do that. Maybe you'll change my mind. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, regardless, it's too much. But
yeah, I agree. Okay,
but like
well,
I said, I was like, I'm not
on,
throwing things.
Any other thoughts on this short trek before we move on to our actual topic of the week?
I liked the throwback to Wesley. Mm-hmm. I thought that was great. Any excuse to get Pike, I feel like the actors could have been better utilized, though. and have a little bit more active storyline, maybe more than just one location. But yeah, I think overall it's just kind of was underwhelming to me.
Okay, fair enough. I think I enjoyed it more than you did, and I will watch Anson Mount in anything. I mean, if he wants to sit around in a bathrobe and read in the phone book, I'll watch that for hours. Whatever he wants to do is fine with me.
Gotcha.
So any excuse to get Pike, I'm going to be that fan who will watch it, no doubt. So December, we're going to get some animated Trek.
Yes, I am super excited about this because not too long ago we talked about animated Star Trek and what kind of stories we could do, and it looks like they are doing that. Like we made that episode before they announced this, and it looks like they're varying up the styles, and it looks like it's not just everyone just assumed that it was going to be Lower Decks, like a short trek for Lower Deck or Lower Decks. But this one it sounds like they're going in the right direction of doing different kind of stories and one-off tales. And I think even one of them is about the myth that Michael Burnham talks about the beginning of the universe, or not the beginning of the universe, but the creation of something. I'm blanking right now.
Boy, me too.
But I think that's really, really, really awesome. And we're getting a tardigrade story.
Yeah. Hey, I am 100% for this. I'm really excited to see what's in store. It's going to be a new experience, really, like kind of like new old, because we have had animated series before, but this reprisal, I'm very excited to see what they've done with it.
Yeah, I think this is really going to intrigue me. And I think the tardigrade one was scored and directed by Michael Giacchino.
Yes. So I'm excited about that too. I really like his work as a composer. So I'm hoping this will be really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be interesting at least. Even if it's not fantastic, it'll be interesting.
Yes, it'll be a fresh take on Star Trek, honestly. So, with that said, how about we get to the topic, which is short treks in the 90s TNG, DS9, and Voyager universe, part 2.
Yes, we had so much fun last episode talking about 90s short treks, like what it would look like, and we thought, hey, let's tackle it again. Let's see what else we can do.
We're not finished.
I thought maybe we could go beyond the 90s just a little bit and maybe do an Enterprise short trek.
You want to give Enterprise some love? Yeah, why not? You know what? I don't think web series or webisodes were a thing quite in 2001, but you know what? If they'd been thinking forward, they would have.
Now, when did Battlestar Galactica come out? Was that 2004?
About there. I'm thinking 2005, but I could be wrong.
Because I think a couple seasons in, they did webisodes, and that was the first time I really remember seeing webisodes was with Battlestar Galactica. So I think around 2005, 6, 7, they started doing it. So this definitely would be ahead of its time if we started doing it in 2001, 2, 3.
Yeah, because for context, there's no YouTube in 2001. So if you're going to do this sort of a thing, you've got to host the video. You have to count on people wanting to download it onto their computer, taking the time to do that with maybe their dial-up or their DSL. And if they're lucky, they've got cable. Maybe.
Oh yeah, back then you had to be really invested in order to have cable internet.
If you even had access, a lot of people didn't even have it. So it would be quite the investment for potentially very little payoff. And yet, hey, we count on Star Trek to be innovative, and it really would have been something.
I think if we were back then, I think what would be interesting was it would be an internet exclusive for a time being, and then it would air on UPN at a later date. So if you wanted to be
like
one of the
bonus content or something. Now, here's the thing. Here's where my brain immediately went with Enterprise, and because of the logistics of the time, we were just talking how Ask Not is the shortest short trek we've had to date. I have a feeling this thing would be 5 minutes. It would be a scene.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to be constrained that way.
Tough.
It would have to be. It would have to be something, or it'd be like the lowest level quality. But
it would buffer for 30 minutes to show us 5 minutes of content.
Man, it would be rough.
Yeah.
But let's focus on time frame. Let's focus on story. So I'm in the middle of an Enterprise rewatch right now. So Enterprise is on the brain.
Okay.
I'm in the last quarter of season 3, so I'm right smack dab in the middle of the drama of the Xindi arc.
Okay.
And so one thing that I was thinking, like when we started talking about what if we did an Enterprise short trek, I was thinking, what if we expanded a little bit more on life on Earth post Xindi attack, and
Yeah.
so like the 7 million dead in Florida has already happened. Let's say Enterprise is home. Like they just got home, they saved the Earth from the large attack. And we know that there's a lot of unrest on Earth. A lot of people
Yes.
saying we shouldn't be going out there. Like this never would have happened if you weren't trying to explore and just broadcasting the location of Earth to everyone you meet.
Right.
And so I was wondering
That
if maybe there was
isolationist
something
vibe,
there.
too.
Yeah, the isolationist vibe. I mean, and honestly, with good reason. 7 million people are dead. 7 million.
Right. So, and I mean, humans are going to be humans and not look at the big picture and just immediately say, look, we got to take care of ourselves here.
Right.
Forget these aliens.
So you have all this alien animosity, and we even saw a scene in early season 4 where Phlox kind of gets some of that.
Yeah.
Where he's at a bar with
definitely.
Hoshi, and he gets accosted by some people, and he does that whole blowfish thing where he blows up his head real big.
Right.
I'm wondering, is there something to that, or do we want to focus on something a little bit more lighthearted?
I mean, I'm always in the mood for something a little more on the lighter side.
Well, what we could do is we could go back a little bit more. So we saw how Archer met Trip, and we saw how Archer met T'Pol and Hoshi, and like how they all got on board and everything like that. Like, what if we saw something else? What if we saw Archer recruit? Actually, well, we know the story behind Mayweather too. That was not very exciting.
Yeah, poor Travis. No love.
Poor Travis, no love, never gets any love.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like what I'm wondering is, I mean, could we have one of the great things about maybe the earlier days is a lot of times when, say, T'Pol and Archer and Trip are having dinner together or what have you, there's usually a joke at T'Pol's expense.
Mm-hmm.
What if we do something like that?
So we have a dinner conversation. So maybe we did do something like Carbon Creek Light, where
Yeah, something real, but shorter and lighter.
shorter. So like somebody's telling a story, like DePaul told a story about Carbon Creek, but the three of
Yeah.
them are at dinner, because I always love those scenes when the three of them are at dinner. I do.
Me too. Me too. I mean, eating a breadstick with a fork, you just.
It is a much
Yeah.
better version of the decon chamber.
Indeed. So,
The shameless decon chamber.
oh my God, yes. All right, and let's not do anything with the decon chamber.
No. So
Dinner.
they're at dinner. We've had T'Pol tell a story. So
It's
I feel like
somebody else.
maybe it should be Archer or Trip telling a story.
Yeah. Are you leaning toward one character or the other?
I'm a big fan of Connor Trinneer, and so I think Trip would be a good person to tell a story. He feels like
All
he
right.
would be someone who would be a natural storyteller. I don't think Archer is a natural storyteller.
No, I think you're right. Okay, so Trip it is. What sort of story can Trip tell?
Well, you immediately think like he's constantly talking about Florida. Like that is his a determining
true.
factor in his personality. So you want to go towards there, but what I want to know a little bit more, I want him to tell an embarrassing story to T'Pol about Archer.
Oh, about Archer, because the moment you brought up Florida, I'm thinking Florida man story.
Florida man story. That would be
Sorry,
funny.
Florida. You've done
We
this
love
to
you.
yourselves.
Okay, so we do know that Trip and Archer they did their survival training together.
Okay, this is a perfect setup for an embarrassing Archer story.
And I think it was in Death Valley was when they did it. So they did it in the States in Death Valley. So let's say like Archer's just like, Trip, no, like we're not going to tell this story.
Uh-huh.
I'm leaning like, I know this is so stereotypical, but this is done in almost every single sitcom where they're trapped and it's super cold and they have to huddle together for warmth.
In Death Valley.
In Death Valley at nighttime, it gets super cold.
Well, yeah, I suppose, you're going to have like 130 degrees during the day and then desert cold at night.
I'm not saying that has to be the focus of the episode. That's not the embarrassing thing because it's
No.
not embarrassing and it's overdone in sitcoms, but I want it to happen because I think it's funny.
Okay. So, what if Archer prepared for really hot temperatures, brought plenty of water, but then maybe didn't bring any blankets or anything for nighttime?
Yes, I love that idea where, yes. Wait. Is that more of a Trip thing or an Archer thing, you think?
I think that's an Archer thing. He did not think this through very well. So then, like, what if, I don't know, what if he has to huddle up with Trip to conserve some body heat or something?
I love that idea where it's you really skirt the line in television. Like, say that if this was in 2001, they would totally go the gay panic mode. And
yeah, I know.
And since we're in 2019 and we're making it for 2001, we have the ability to not go gay panic mode. And so
Yeah.
I want to go the embarrassment mode of being unprepared, and Trip's just like, it doesn't matter, come on. And Archer's like, no, I don't want to. and
Yeah,
like
I think and Archer would resist. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm fine. Meanwhile, he's shaking.
honestly, I think it's the other way around. I really do. I think it would be
Really?
Trip. I really do. I think Archer would be prepared.
So we're going to switcheroo this. It's actually going to be a joke at Trip's expense?
Okay, let's do the turnaround here. So let's say that Trip is the one who forgot his night gear,
Okay.
but this is how the story ends. But like Archer ends the story that way, but Trip starts it telling something else. Where like Trip starts the story making fun of Archer, and then Archer's like, "I'm thinking you're forgetting how the night ended."
Yeah. Good twist. Good twist.
So how do we start it? So it's got to be during the daytime.
Okay.
Let's see. So during survival training, it's hot. You're in the desert. You have a lack of water, and maybe the two of them get separated from the rest of everybody else. Like it's because when you're doing survival training, I'm sure you're in a group, and so I want to say that Trip and Archer get separated, and
Sure.
maybe they get heat exhaustion, and so
Ooh.
Archer starts hallucinating.
What if they're really bad hunters?
What would they hunt in Desert Valley? Like lizards and stuff?
Little lizards and whatever they could possibly get their hands on to eat, especially if they're separated. What if they lose some of their gear in the process? They don't have all their resources at their disposal. Also, what if there's vodka instead of water?
Where on earth would that come from?
Because they're going to party that night, and in that flask is not water, and they figure that out a little too late, and then they're not hydrated, so they're going to have heat exhaustion and hallucinations and just pure dehydration from drunkenness.
I think you're rubbing a little bit too much char into this story with
Okay,
with the
fine.
vodka.
Fine.
I like the hunting angle, but let's combine our two thoughts. Where it's
Okay.
so hot, and they have a lack of water.
What if
that
they're
Archer,
like hallucinating and they think that little lizards are there to eat, but they're not.
Yes.
They're hunting nothing.
That's what I was going for. Yeah,
All
that's definitely
right.
the direction I was going in. Is that like they're hunting lizards, and Trip's just like, "What? I don't see any lizards. This is ridiculous." He's like, "They're all over the place," and Archer's like trying to get the lizards, and he keeps trying to stab it, and then like the audience actually sees the lizards, and
Right. But then
and
cut
so-
to, and he's stabbing dirt.
yeah, like he stabs it, and he's like, "See here," and then Trip
He
picks
pulls
it
it
up,
up. Nothing.
and it's just a stick or something, like. And so that's this, like we flesh it out, we make it much more robust, and like that's the story. And then like T'Pol, like which way would T'Pol go? Would she say like, well, like I think she'd try to comfort Archer, saying like, well, under extreme conditions, it's natural to hallucinate certain things. And Trip's just laughing his ass off.
Now, with this being maybe a little earlier in Enterprise's run, is T'Pol going to be slightly condescending? Like, humans have a hard time resisting heat. It's only natural that you would have hallucinated like that or something.
I think she would say that. It would definitely be a backhanded compliment.
Yes.
that Vulcans are so famous for. Where it's just like, I mean, you're only limited by your species. Like it's okay.
Yeah, I
And
like that a lot. That's T'Pol.
And she makes a reference to Vulcan where she said, like, that's called a Thursday for us. Because
Okay.
Vulcan's very hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that's where we kind of hand it off to Archer, where like Trip is laughing his ass off, and Archer's like, yeah, that's just the beginning of the story. And Trip's like, wait.
Yeah. What are you talking? Oh no.
Like we promised we weren't going to talk about that. And he's like, you started this.
And I think T'Pol is going to lead this on. Like, okay, I mean, you can't just stop the story here now.
Yeah, you have to tell me. And so it's just pure embarrassment. It's just Trip saying he's fine, he's shivering. And Archer's the one saying, listen, it's fine. Like, I know you're frustrated, but you got to keep warm. Because he did that before with T'Pol in the Pajem episode where like T'Pol was frigid. And he said, he's like, get under the covers. It's no big deal. I feel like that would kind of echo that, but he would do that with Trip.
Okay. So, I mean, is there a little more to that where they're going to huddle up, but what other sort of embarrassing element can we put in this? Because that's not that embarrassing. That's necessity.
I think Trip finally caves. They huddle together. And then they wake up the next morning and Trip just has his arms all around Archer. And the rest of the group finds them.
Okay. So then they're kind of maybe led to wonder, well, what happened last night?
Yeah, it's like, what's going on? They're like, nothing, shut up.
Like, did you guys run away on purpose to have a little romp together?
And so, like, and that's the thing. That's where we skirt the line. It's not the gay panic thing. It's the shut up, like, we're Starfleet officers thing. He's my friend.
It was all business. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe we're getting a little too close, though, of making fun of a gay relationship, even though this is not.
I think we can do it in a way where in modern Star Trek style, where it's not like, oh, you're gay, huh? It's not you're gay, it's, oh, two people together.
Okay, thank you. That's the distinction we need to make. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hardy har, wink,
Star
wink.
Trek.
Yeah, it's Star Trek. It's the future. We don't give a crap about those kind of labels.
No, nor do we as people, and so I don't even want to put our names on this if it's going to be anything less than that. So, with that said, though, that's good. Where it's just, oh, you two, we should have known. It's
hard. Yeah, it's hard to convey that via podcast, but
it is.
That's definitely the tone we would try to set. Like, this is not the same old gay panic joke. This is the like two people out in the desert huddled together. They were separated from the group, and the group's just like, oh, okay, we knew you guys were close, but and
something like that. Okay, so then how do we want to wrap this thing up? Like, we can't just stop there with the short track. We need some sort of like boom ching.
We got to have something. I feel like it comes back, and let's see. Okay. Let's add a little bit more weight to it, a little bit more sincerity, so it's not just the possible gay panic moment. So at any time during survival training, you can whip out your communicator and call for an evac. At any time, you can say, like, I've had too much, I'm sick, or I don't have enough water, I've screwed up, please get me out of here. And a shuttlecraft will come by and pick you up. And I think because if they did that, then it would be over and you'd have to start your survival training over. You wouldn't get the position you wanted. Maybe, like, there would be consequences to it. Like, you'd be delayed in your education if that happened. Like, you'd have to repeat a semester.
Or, okay, no. What
not
if this
semester,
because
they're not in the academy.
Arrogance. Maybe Archer knows that he can call in and do this. Maybe Trip didn't know, and this is the kaboom ching, where we could have called and just everything would have stopped at that moment. Who cares if we would have had to have redone it?
I think I want to disagree with you on that one, because I feel like we're getting the funny stuff with them being found by the people afterwards. I want to bring it back with some sincerity to the point where we're back at the dinner, and T'Pol says something like, well, like, couldn't you have evac'd at any time? And
Ooh,
Trip
she's
Trip
bringing it up.
yeah, she's bringing it up, and Trip goes, well, I mean, if I did say, because I forgot my equipment, I'd have to admit that I forgot my equipment, and I would have had to retake the survival training, and I don't know what would have happened after that. My timeline would have been all screwed up, and T'Pol would have said, so Captain Archer kind of secured the fact that you are on Enterprise today, or something to that effect. And
no. What if she's a little more condescending? So human arrogance is what has brought you to Enterprise today, or something like that.
Yeah, she says something callous, and then Trip for some reason finally realizes it. Like, oh, that's why you did it. Because if I restarted my survival training, like if you let me call the evac, then you would have had to chosen a new engineer or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And that's where Trip finds a newfound appreciation for it, or something
Archer?
like that.
Oh, okay, that's cute. That puts a little bit of elegance on top of a bunch of mishaps. That
Yeah,
Archer
so, like,
was really actually looking out for Trip, knowing that they would get through this somehow.
Right. Where he didn't want him to just call for the transport because he knew it would screw up his timeline of how he wanted to get onto a ship.
Yeah, I like that whole idea where it would have set him back so far that it would have messed up his whole, I mean, not his whole career, but it definitely would have jeopardized a lot of things.
Yeah, something to that effect. I think
Yeah.
you start with the jokes about the lizards at Archer's expense, then you transition into the jokes at Trip's expense, with the other group finding them, and then you button it up with actual sincerity.
Yeah. Very cool. And it's a little short story. It doesn't need to take any more than 15 minutes tops.
Tops.
And like you were saying at the top of the show, this is not necessary, but it's a cute little story.
And it just builds the relationship between Trip and Archer a little bit more, because we do see that they have a strong friendship, and we do get some flashbacks here and there. We do get some references, but I've always wanted to see more.
Well, and then here we go. Here's a little more.
There you go. Well,
Okay,
I think that's
done.
good.
Hey, that should be our show.
I think we planned on doing a little bit more, but we're running out of time, and so I think maybe we could do it again next week, or we circle back in a few weeks from now. I mean, actually, we're in America, Thanksgiving's coming up next week, so it might be a little spotty what episode's going to happen next week, if an episode happens next week. But we'll definitely be coming at you as soon as we possibly can.
That's right. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to punch it.
Ready for warp, sir. Let's punch it.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.